Dear God, I just want to thank you for streaming services because I don't have to pay for movies that I see and then end up getting fucking annoyed with. What's up, guys? It's me, Sacred G. Sorry for the prayer there in the beginning. It wasn't actually a prayer, it was a joke, but whatever. Today, we're going to be talking about the first movie that's actually ever fucking annoyed me. I'm going to warn you, there's going to be spoilers throughout this whole thing. Well, not really on the whole movie, because that'd be just as long as the movie. But there's going to be spoilers, so if you have not seen Scream 6, I do highly recommend to not watch the movie. Okay? And this is not a review. This is me just talking about my thoughts and feelings on this film, which, you know, is still essentially a review, I guess, but no, we're just discussing the movie. Okay? So do not take my opinion seriously. This is just all in my opinion. I really could care less if you like the movie. I mean, I'm glad you did. You probably see something in it that I may have missed. So without further ado, let's get started. So, a little preface. I actually recorded this a half hour after I watched it, but I was so fucking annoyed with this movie. And I know that I said in my Scream 5 discussion video, I probably won't watch Scream 6. Well, I went all year without watching Scream, or even thinking of Scream 6 until just recently. I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this movie a shot. Maybe this movie, I'll like it better than Scream 5, you know, because I've seen sequels that I've ended up liking, like A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, for an example. I like that one over the original. My opinion, I know, pretty unpopular. Hopefully not. So, without further ado, I kind of want to just start off with, like, I'm just going to go over scenes that just annoyed this shit out of me. Like, I like to give credit where credit's due. The camera work was fine. The movie looked great. It was beautifully shot. The acting was, I really don't have an opinion on the acting, actually. I was like, it's just a horror movie. But it was serviceable for the most part. You know, Courtney Cox makes an appearance again, which was okay. But I really think she was a bitch in this movie, and they kind of, I don't know. But she's known for doing shady and sneaky things, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, because it's been years since I've seen 2 and 3. So, you know, my history on the Scream films aren't really that up to date. And plus, I think it's just kind of ridiculous to compare these. They're supposed to be their standalone. But this movie, like, I've seen 4 too, and I actually liked 4. It's been, I think, a year since I've seen it, because last year, I think, was the first time I've ever watched it, and I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I still remember some parts of it, and Kirby being one of the people, or one of the victims in Scream 4. Which she makes an appearance in this film. And so the opening scene, this chick's on a date. She's at a bar having a few drinks. And, you know, they're texting back and forth, and her date gets lost. And this is New York, by the way. And it's Halloween night. She's getting they're texting back and forth. He's like, oh, this is embarrassing, blah, blah, blah. And he calls her, and she's like, well, do you want to meet me in an alleyway and see, so we could see if I could see that's you? So she goes and stands, like, in the entrance of the alleyway and waves and says, hey, can you see me? No, I can't see you. Clearly he's not there. It's a fucking horror movie. She starts going down the alleyway, and the motherfucker decides to tell her, you wouldn't be going down there. No, like, I understand she might have been having a few drinks, in all the movie's fairness, but to me that was stupid. Even when I'm drunk, and when I do drink, I don't make dumbass decisions like that. I don't think anybody does, and especially in a city like New York where crime happens almost all the time. I mean, crime happens everywhere, but it's a bigger city. And she goes down this fucking alleyway, gets killed. Gets fucking killed, and it's a fucking college professor, too. She unfortunately loses her life, and she's screaming. And I'm going to give a shout out to Michael from TheChoiceVoice. He mentioned that, you know, she was screaming pretty loud, and I do have to agree. She was screaming pretty loud, and also the scene before she walked into the fucking alleyway, there was a bunch of fucking people, and it even panned on a few trick-or-treaters. And for whatever reason, They don't hear her. They don't take it seriously. Oh, but it's a goof. It's Halloween. You know, people scream at each other all the time to play, you know, to scare each other as a prank. There's a difference between an actual scream and a joking, scary, or the scare you joke scream. But she gets killed. And, you know, the Ghostface comes out and he, you know, reveals himself to be, a pedophile. No, I'm just kidding. No, but he reveals himself, takes his mask off, and I thought that was cool, you know? I thought they would do something a little bit with that, but they went nowhere. Because the dude's fucking motive was the weakest motive ever. Like, this person, the reason he fucking killed the professor was because, well, she gave him a C. Oh, that really fucked him up. That's traumatizing. Getting a C? Oh my god. So he killed her for that fucking reason. And so, you know, he gets back to his apartment and, you know, fucking Ghostface actually calls him the Ghostfaces that we sadly have to deal with in this fucking movie. And it's warm and cold, by the way, not hot and cold. You know, you're somebody's like, oh, I put, let's say, the cookie. You're warm, cold, hot, and when you're like steaming hot, you're right by the item the person's kind of teasing you with, I guess. But no, it's warm and cold, the Ghostface. And they play that game, and he finds his partner dismembered in the fucking fridge. Okay. That's cool, you know, it's showing the brutality of this Ghostface. You know, I will say that. And that's the thing I like, too. Ghostface was fucking brutal. He was pretty brutal with this guy. The scene where he died was pretty gory. And the effects were pretty damn good. But that doesn't say a whole bunch whether or not I like or dislike a movie. Effects don't save shit, in my own opinion. So, the next scene is where Sam is in therapy. And so, you know, she's talking to her therapist, and she even recaps all the events she was involved in, pretty much the whole gist of the movie, like when because we all watch it to when the Ghostface stuff kicks off, not like, she didn't describe from the beginning. Well, she did. No, she didn't. She just described pretty much who the killers were. It was an entire recap scene, and then for whatever reason, because her therapist complained that she wasn't opening up and she was hiding a few things, and she decided to open up in front of her therapist, which is what you're supposed to do. And what she describes to the therapist is self-defense. She wasn't expressing a need to kill somebody or a want to kill somebody. She said she did so in order to save her own life. And you know what the therapist does? He fucking gets concerned and scared of Sam. And you know why that fucking is? Because she's Billy Loomis's daughter. She already has like serial killer blood in her genes or whatever. You know, she has serial killer fucking DNA. And the funniest thing, like, I just didn't understand that. Like, she didn't say again, as I said, didn't express a need or want to kill. It's told a self-defense story. And the fucking therapist, it just becomes a useless character. It's like, why in the fuck did you have this scene? He dies anyways. And to be honest, when he did die, I actually didn't care. I was like, you know, you weren't really a great therapist. You literally treated something that wasn't the thing you were treating it as. She wasn't expressing the need or want. She was just telling the defense story. And he's like, oh, well, I need to call the police about this. It's like, fuck you, fucking piece of shit. Therapist. Get the fuck out of here. And so, you know, Sam gets home, and I will say that I've already forgotten a few of these characters' names. Like, I don't remember the roommate that Sam and Tara's had, or Sam and Tara are rooming with's name. I don't remember her name at all, and there's a big reason for that, but we'll get into that if I decide to just jump scenes. Because Yeah, this movie sucked. So she gets home and she, her roommate's going at it because she's like I want multiple partners sort of thing. And her behavior throughout the entire fucking, every scene she was in, like whenever this GhostFace stuff would appear, she just seemed like she was kind of disconnected from it and didn't really care. So I was like, yeah, you're the killer. And so Sam gets home, to her apartment, and she, her roommate comes out. And she's like, have you seen Tara? This, that, the third. And, she tells her that Tara's, at a party. And she's like, well, I begged Tara not to go. And the thing with Sam is I wanted to like her. Okay. I think they could have done something great now, especially with the news of Scream 7. Where apparently, I don't know if anybody's heard, I don't know if this is even true, but I read somewhere that they were going to turn Sam into a killer anyways, which I'm not surprised at all. Anywho, Sam gets all fucking worried and shit. But I wanted to like her. But she just came off very sad to me. She came off like she just couldn't let go, as Tara put it. And it's like, that's part of therapy, is learning to accept what happened and to let it go. Or to deal with it in a positive way. And it's just, she just came off kind of moody in this, and I just didn't like that, And so she goes to this party, and, Tara's really drunk, and she was trying to hook up with this dude, all of her friends are there. And by the way, before recording this discussion, I looked up the scene where Chad got stabbed, and I don't remember at all. I don't know if it was mentioned. I think I may have maybe mentioned it in my Scream 5 talk about discussion video, that I think, Chad came back. He was unscathed, like Mindy pretty much was in this movie. Well, he's back in this film yet again. I thought they made him gay, to be honest, but they didn't. Because, anywho, Tara's at this party, this really dope Halloween party where everybody's drinking, doing drugs, smoking weed, and by far I hate how horror movies portray bong rips. You're supposed to pull the fucking bowl piece out of the fucking bong, not just leave it burning in there, because that actually burns all your weed. And, she's trying to hook up with this asshole, and later in the movie, that's just a pointless scene, because you admit that, because she seemed all willy-nilly and just living her life, which is what she ended up telling Sam what she wanted to do. And she's trying to hook up with this dude, and, they put a stop to it, kick his ass, pretty much antagonize him. From what I gathered from that scene, the guy didn't treat, he tried to drag her up the stairs, which, is what crossed the line, and I understand that aspect and that part. But it just seemed to me they started it because they're like, hey, man, back off. Back off, dude. Back off. And it was so funny now to think of that, because Tara literally tells Sam, I don't want you to cling on to me. Like, I want to live my life. I want to go to college and live my life and stuff like that. And I was thinking, bro, you're hanging out with people who are just do the same thing. They didn't let you hook up with the dude to begin with. Why are you getting mad at your sister when your friends were doing the same shit? They were trying to prevent her from going upstairs. And I was just like, okay, all right. I see where Tara's mind's at. Fuck family, right? In that moment, at least. And then they leave, because fucking... I just don't fucking understand. They just fought the dude now, thinking of that for no reason. Because they antagonized the guy. They're like, hey, no, you shouldn't be taking her up. And then he tried dragging her up the stairs, and that was the movie's way of saying, oh, this guy's toxic. He was an asshole. You wouldn't have treated her well. Who knows? They just didn't let her have fun. Her friends did the same shit her sister did, so I just don't understand that. And so they leave, as I said, sorry. And, this bitch walks by. They're like in the middle of the park. This bitch walks by, splashes Diet Coke on Sam, and she gets mad, and her friends are holding it up like, oh, look at that. She's freaking out. She's freaking out even though she was fucking minding her own damn business. And that becomes an importance later on. And this movie, man, has the most, like, that's when, like, the scene that really kind of made me realize I shouldn't be watching it the way I was. Like, oh, this is Scream. Maybe this will change my mind. I just stopped taking it seriously when the new scene came up and they pulled the video that those chicks I mentioned that splashed Sam, called her a murderer, with Diet Coke. They played that and made her suspect. You can, in the video that they put on the fucking broadcast for the news, you can see the cup the women used, or the girl used, to splash soda pop on her. You can literally see it. I even had to do a double take because they showed it twice. I didn't see it the first time, but the second time you could see it. And I was like, fuck that shit. And then they're like, oh, you gotta wear your masks. And not, no warnings being careful that the GhostFace killer's out again. Really? 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 Because he leaves masks in this one, at least. I don't, again, remember much. I think he did in all of them. But, I mean, he left masks there, and they're still telling people to wear their masks. And people dress for some reason as fucking Ghostface. I'm surprised I didn't see Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, or people dressed up as them in there. I just don't understand in this universe why they allowed people to even dress as the active killer. No one does that. In this universe, they do. It's just weird, And then, of course, we have Mindy, by far my least favorite character. I actually despise her, and it's not because of her, she's LGBTQ or she's African American. It's actually because she was bitchy in this fucking movie. She was more likable in the fifth one, and that's not saying much. I thought she came off the same way, but she was more tame with it. But in this one, she's a straight up bitch. Oh, I'm going to accuse every single one of my friends and tell everybody to not trust each other, but yet they still stick in the same fucking group. What? What are you talking about? You're telling your friend group to not, you could be the killer. Any one of you can be, but we're going to stick together. If she meant her words, she wouldn't have said that to begin with, but she did. And the funniest thing about that scene is it just made me, she brought up Stab 2, and it reminded me of Scream 2. I was like, okay, so it was Scream 2 with the college. Because, Stab is Scream, the Scream movies at least, in the Scream universe. And so she's like, yeah, this is just like Stab 2. I was like, oh, wonderful. It's going to be a retread of the second one to some degree. And the funniest thing is, it kind of was. I mean, I don't know if Sam was in college, but I do know that Tara, Mindy, and Chad were all going to college. At least that I know of. And the funniest thing is, okay, so I want to continue off from where I left off. So we were talking about Sam, getting stuff, soda splashed on her. They go back up, and then, the news plays and everything. And, the roommate is just very weird. And I was like, yeah, you're the fucking killer. Because when Sam came back, because she was been sleeping with this dude, this neighbor of theirs who lives, right window distance, and they could see each other. She's been sleeping with him, brings him over, and the roommate's like, oh, you brought over a hot one. Just totally disinterested in the whole Ghostface thing and not really seeming to give a shit about what happened with Sam and Tara. And I was like, yeah, you are not the smartest killer. I mean, I would have picked up on that as soon as the showing of disinterest and the traumatic events that happened to your friends. If I was a part of this group, I would have gotten that. Come on. And so, and that's when the movie just gets so stupid. So that is where I'm going to try my best to describe the scenes. They're not going to be in order because I don't want to talk about the whole movie. So there's a scene. This one is just the most funniest fucking thing I've seen in a modern horror movie. Ghostface, and this is probably the biggest mystery I'm ever going to have to solve, is, this is even, more mysterious than UFOs, because I just want to know, how in the fuck did Ghostface Get in the goddamn apartment. It shows the background. It shows how the apartment room looks, the apartment they're staying in. There is no way he could have snuck in without either using a window, which he would have gotten seen because everybody was the fuck awake, and the front door, which is the only two options he's got. Unless he busts a wall down, but you'd hear that in a heartbeat. He just gets in the apartment. You know, they would hear him come in through the fucking front door. There's nowhere to hide in there, for GhostFace at least. And for God's sake, he just got in the fucking apartment. And then now, you know, Mindy's stabbed. He stabs Mindy. And, you know, guts the fucking Mindy's girlfriend, who I've forgotten the name of, because we don't get to know her. She's not even in the movie for that long. It's a 2-hour fucking movie. And she gets killed off pretty early on. And, you know, they're trapped in one of their bedrooms, and the fucking Sam's one-night stand decides to pull a ladder out of his ass. No, he decides to pull a ladder out from his fucking room, and it was the longest ladder ever, and I was just sitting there thinking, how in the fuck can you have that in your fucking apartment? What do you need it for? You know, again, in fairness, the occupation of this dude was not known. Maybe he did work that required it. Who knows? However, it just felt, the way he pulled it out just felt like one of those parody scenes from like Airplane or something where, you know, they pull out these huge things out of their pockets and all these random things. And it's like, that's what it felt like. You know, and I understand Scream's supposedly a parody, but I think that's just now becoming an excuse to use every single stupid trope that they make fun of without being pointed at and saying, hey, you're a hypocrite. It's like, come on. Like, that was just ridiculous. That was funny. It was entertaining. It was funny. But not for the right reasons. It wasn't even supposed to be funny. The characters were in a dire situation. Everybody was hurt. You didn't know who was going to die. But he just pulls a ladder out of his ass, pretty much. And also the infamous scene that was seen in trailers where Ghostface gets the gun, which I do agree. I actually liked how he had the gun. It was pretty different. I wish he used it more. But no, he used it in the convenience store scene, which, by the way, the fucking shop owner's a dumbass. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, he fucking got distracted. I don't remember what it was by, but he gets fucking killed. Ghostface takes his gun and shoots his ass. And it's like he waited until he killed somebody to do this. Really? Like, these two girls busted into this convenience store to begin with, and they were all freaking out, and this dude walks in. And I think he even had his knife out. I don't know that for certain, but he guts this dude to death, and the owner didn't think twice to grab the shotgun beforehand. And I mean, come on, dude. These two girls came and screaming. This dude comes walking in with a fucking mask. And Ghostface is pretty stupid in this one. Like, I mean, if you really couldn't find them in this small-ass store, you're dumb. Okay, you shouldn't even be wearing and daunting the Ghostface mask and the costume. Because, dude, this dude couldn't find them. And the store was that fucking small. He could have just jotted around the entire damn thing and found them easily. And also in that same scene, he was actually looking in the direction where they were. And this sounds like I'm rooting for him, and I wasn't. But if I was Ghostface, or if I was the writer, I would have had him walk down the aisle they were in and just have him jot around. And anyways, he was looking down the way, or where they were hiding, and he heard, they made a sound over there. He looked over there, but what really got him to leave was a can. The other sound that was going on when they were trying to be quiet. And there was broken glass everywhere. It's like, come on, man. That's fucking stupid as hell. Like, they're crawling around, broken glass. So Ghostface can't hear. His hearing aid isn't turned up all the way. Apparently. And that scene was just fucking ridiculous. And also the whole movie breakdown thing, you know, this is what happens in the requels, the shequels, you know, shitty requels, I guess. I thought that was stupid. That's what made me dislike Mindy, actually. I was like, I don't like this character. I think she just comes off so snooty and just like a fucking know-it-all. And it's like, I don't want to hear this. Like, even the characters didn't seem like they wanted to hear her bullshit during that entire scene. You know, it's like she just lives for the movies, you know? She's Randy's fucking niece. Come on. And then she, again, like I mentioned, she accuses everybody of fucking being the killer, saying you can't trust anybody, but yet again, they stick together. And then also, Mindy just seems to be indestructible, like she's invincible or something, because she got stabbed in the arm in that scene with the ladder, and she was even bitching about losing blood. I was like, oh man, I think Mindy might die. But the motherfucking woman doesn't. She literally, like, after they get to the fucking, which is a day later, by the way, they get to the theater, or the GhostFace cave, is what I like to call it. After they get to that area, like, they're all sitting there planning, and her brother's, like, Chad, is, like, hugging up against the arm where she got stabbed, and she's not reacting at all. There is no signs of her arm even being struck, because she's wearing a long sleeve. And I was like, yeah, okay. And that's not the only scene this has happened in. Like, she just seems to, I guess, be related to Wolverine somehow and being able to heal from her wounds fairly quick, because she gets gutted in the subway scene. And the other thing at the top of this is, like, when does Halloween end in this movie? Because Days Have Passed, Tara literally mentions it was Halloween the day, or the news scene, you know, the infamous news scene, where, you know, they pretty much tell people to wear their ghost face masks, even though the fucking killer's on the loose, and it's announced to the news, oh, go wear your masks. I'm sorry, that is just so funny to me. And so, you know, she's, you know, I just don't know when Halloween ends, because it just seems to go on and on and on for days. And again, I've never been to actually New York. I don't know how it is on Halloween. I don't know if they celebrate it, you know, more in New York or something like that, but I doubt it. And it just seems to go on. And they're in the subway with a bunch of people dressed as, you know, Michael Myers and all these other, you know, iconic characters. Even the Babadook was in it, or somebody dressed as the Babadook, which I found, you know, kind of cool. I did like that aspect of it. However, I didn't like the fact that Halloween didn't seem to end. And so Mindy got on the fucking train with Ethan, who they were all accusing of being the killer right off the fucking bat. And they all had good reason to, as I will describe later. Fuck. She gets stabbed by one of the Ghostface that is on the train with her, out of all the people who were just up as the Ghostface killer. Fucking A. So she gets stabbed pretty well, actually, from the way the movie portrayed it. Like, it was very gruesome. She was stabbed pretty fucking fatally. But at the end of the fucking movie, she comes running out like she's never been stabbed. She's all fine. Just willy-nilly. All over the place. And I was like, come on. You know, this character just cannot be touched. You know, at least Chad, as much as I say he should have died in the first one, he actually showed pain from his injuries. Mindy did not. Even Tara did. She ended up being in the cast in the end. I was like, okay, that's that. But no, Mindy comes running out like she's never been fucking stabbed at all, which was just fucking insane to me. I was like, I cannot believe they allowed that. You know, she was stabbed pretty fucking fatally and showed that she was in pain. She was literally laying in the fucking train car with her hand covering her wound, and she was, I guess, passing out. But apparently she's fine. Again, she must be related to Wolverine. Also, not just Randy, Wolverine as well. But, this movie sucked. And this movie was fucking pathetic. Like, it's not objectively, of course. This is not me saying, oh, this is actually how it is. No, actually, this is how I felt about it. I'm trying to remember. There's a few other scenes. Oh, Gail, she's back. Fucking, she's a bitch, dude, in this one. She told Sam and Tara that she wasn't right about them, and she went behind their back. And I think Gail's notorious for that, if I'm remembering correctly, for just not being the best person or the best reporter. I think she did that with Sydney. But it's like, does she learn? Where's the character development? Because she seemed to have just not learned. Even in Scream 5, she just didn't seem to learn. She left Dewey. And the funniest thing is, in remembering that, like, she was sad when he died, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, you left him. Like, it's your fault that you didn't get to spend time with Dewey, because she had a, memory of that, and it showed, in the whole ghost cave, or GhostFace cave, it showed Dewey and a drawing of what happened to him in Scream 5. And so Gail, I think Courtney Cox is a good actress. I just think with what she's done with her face, to be honest, I couldn't tell emotion in that. And that's unfortunate. And, that's why you should not give a shit about how they view you. It's just sad. And, so her scene, it was just really stupid. There was actually a moment in that scene, I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. So she's on the phone with Ghostface. Because they tracked, because Kirby makes an appearance, and I'll get into that as soon as I talk about this. But, she's talking to Ghostface, because he's after her now. And, Gail has a boyfriend, and he got taken. And the funniest thing is she reacted to the sound, right? But still continued to walk away from it like, well, I'm not saying she should have checked it out. That would have been dumber. But she didn't grab anything. No weapon after hearing that sound. Still continued to talk to him. And I was just sitting there thinking, you heard a sound after you're talking to Ghostface. So you're not going to go fucking grab a weapon? She even reacted to it. And I was just thinking, dude, you've got to be fucking kidding me. You've been through this so many times, you won't even grab a weapon. You will do it after you see the killer and after he's fucking attacked you. Or after he's chased you down and knows where you're going. Fucking stupid. Fucking idiotic. Gail. Fuck, did they write Gail smoked so much weed that she forgot where the gun was? And then, when Ghostface shows up, he just sobered her up, and she was like, oh, fuck, the pistol's in this closet. Fuck, dude. And now I want to talk about Kirby. Now it's cool to see characters come back here and there, and I did like that Scream 5. But Kirby died respectively in Scream 4. And I don't know why they decided to say, we should bring her back. Yeah, we'll say she's an FBI agent. And the funniest thing is, they find out in the movie she's not an FBI agent, but the police still allowed her to access certain things. Unless that was a lie. Because that, again, I got disinterested, and I honestly forgotten character names already, so... I mean... this movie sucked. Again... I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, I really didn't like this one. I thought Mindy was just insufferable. I thought even Sam and Tara, like, there was no... Now thinking of it, there was no feeling of tensity. Like, you're not tense for these characters because they just are not portraying that. And that's, like, the only scene I guess you could say was tense was the ladder scene, even though that was just laughable. And it just kind of ruined it because it's like, how did this dude get this ladder? It just seems like he just pulls random shit out to show Sam across the way when they're checking each other out. It's just fucking weird to me. And also, Billy Loomis showing up the fuck again. Oh yeah, you gotta do it, Sam. It's what you're born to do. Take him, you should just do it yourself or some shit. It's just like, come on. Bro, stop that. Let her be her own character, for fuck's sake. You don't need Billy Loomis showing up every fucking movie with Sam in it because it's just becoming stupid now. Like, what is this, Star Wars? Is Obi-Wan showing up to tell Anakin to kill people? Oh my god, dude. This movie, I have never been annoyed at a movie before. Ever. Like, at all. This annoyed. To the point where I had to do a retake of this because I was so annoyed when I watched it. I was like, this movie sucks. I was actually hoping, this is my fault for providing myself with this expectation. I just wanted it to like have me think, okay, this movie actually is not too bad. It's better than Scream 5. It didn't do that. It was worse. And Kirby coming back like she died, dude. Their excuse was, I died for 4 minutes, but I came back alive. It's, it's the core 4 as they described it in the fucking movie. Jesus Christ. And that whole damn scene again with Ghostface coming in. I don't know how those idiotic characters just don't seem to get it. And none of them have fought back. The only time Chad's ever kicked the Ghostface's ass was at the end. Not once did they even try to fucking fight back. Like, even fucking Sam said something that just really makes her eat her own words. Like, yeah, if you fuck with us, I killed the last person that fucked with us with the first time when they're actually headed to the convenience store, her and Tara. And it's like, bro, and then like after that scene, I was like, nah, you haven't fought back. I was even thinking that. I was like, dude, why did you tell the Ghostface that, but you've never shown signs of you wanting to fight back? And you are in your right to. They could have had him tussle. Doesn't mean they had to kill the fucking killer. You could have still had your deaths. However, that didn't happen. They just ran away. Every single fucking time, showing the killer their weakness. Oh, we've been through so much together, is literally a quote they say in the movie to each other. And it's like, it doesn't seem like it, because you would have been fighting his ass throughout this entire fucking movie. And all they've done is crawl around, escape, run away. Because in that same scene where he gets in the fucking apartment, Tara and fucking Chad run the fuck away. And then Chad again gets stabbed severely, and he makes it. And even Tara's worried. She asked him, I can't believe, how in the fuck are you still alive? And the excuse was, Core 4, man. Core 4. And if that's really how it's going to be, I'm really not going to watch the other one. The only reason I'd watch the sequel, Scream 7, is basically just to waste time and to, I guess, watch it and not take it seriously, because I just don't have faith in the newer movies. I don't. So I did not like Scream 5. I didn't even like this one. I actually like this one worse than Scream 5. And that's not saying a whole bunch. I'm not saying Scream 5's better. Didn't care for that one either. And the scenes, like the choices they made were just so fucking dumb. Like, oh, let's all crawl across the ladder. And also during the scene, like, I was rooting for Mindy's girlfriend to get across. And I was contemplating on yelling at the screen, reach your arm out, lean closer on the ladder, somebody hold it steady. Because they could have pulled her in easily. But no, they decided to push back and watch Ghostface just fucking, shake the ladder. No one bothering to do a damn thing. And it's like, come on, dude. Come the fuck on. That's bullshit. And yeah, her death was gruesome. There was there was some good makeup effects there. But that fucking doesn't fucking tell the whole movie. And then the fucking reveal. Oh my god, I could not have seen it coming. Yes, the fucking guy that played the cop did not do a good job hiding who he was. There were several scenes where he would give these weird looks or do something strange, and I was like, you're the fucking killer, man. Why is this 2 movies in a row, 2 newer Scream films, where I've guessed the killer? I remember the first time I watched Scream, and even Scream 2 and 3, I do remember vividly that I didn't know who the fucking killers were. Because every time, regardless, well, I don't know. It's, all subjective at the end of the day. If you hated Scream 2 and liked Scream 6 better, more power to you. I'm in the camp, honestly, after seeing these two of the fucking originals. And I think, I don't even know if Gale died. I'd have no idea, because they've been bringing back fucking characters, and characters get stabbed and all this shit. And but the reveal was awful, in my opinion. Probably the most underwhelming one I've seen. And I kind of figured I didn't know if Ethan was the killer or not. And when it was revealed, I actually really wasn't surprised. I was slightly, due to the fact that, they pointed fingers at him right off the gate, which is just weird. I mean, it's like, if you're trying to make a movie that you're trying to, trick your audience into questioning what person's the real killer and all this stuff, they just jumped down his ass easily. They just dogpiled on Ethan. And I was like, okay, I'll take him as suspect, even though I don't agree with how they're doing it. And, and the whole reason is because Sam killed Randy Quaid. Yeah. Don't even remember his fucking name, his character name, dude. Don't even remember. And that's the reason. That's the reason. It's because, they're just dysfunctional. I get that. They're psychos, So, Sam had every right to defend herself. Every right. And she didn't want to do it, hurt anybody. It's clear there. But, the fucking reveal was garbage. And it ended up, the other killer was the fucking, spoilerize for you, was the goddamn roommate. Which, by the way, I was thinking, because it's like a rumor going around that, Sam's an accused killer. People are accusing her or falsely accusing her of being a killer, killing those people because of Gale. Her father was the fucking cop, and he didn't think twice about letting his daughter stay there. Really? If that's what the rumor going around town, bro, why are you allowing your daughter to stay with somebody who's accused of being a killer? Even if you're a cop, you would probably not allow that, but okay, or talk your daughter out of it. It's just obvious. The reveal was very weak. And the kills at the end, I do actually appreciate. I do think it was a little brutal, but it got a little carried away, I don't know. We don't even, no, Kirby made it. Obviously. She probably died for 5 minutes this time. And, Chad made it because of Core 4. Fucking pathetic, man. If that is really, it just to me, when he said that, I was like, okay, that's the reason. Great explanation, film. Good job explaining to me how he made it. Shouldn't somebody that was carrying him out on the stretcher should have known and said something? No. And also, the police just, this is New York City, and, people have called them, but they always seem to show up after, some tragic shits happen, in the convenience store scene. They didn't show up until after, a few people died. And it's come the fuck on. And GhostFace gets away quick like that, he's just fucking Flash. This movie sucked. Anywho, that's me, Sacred G. I know I kept repeating this movie sucked because it fucking did. I didn't like this movie. I didn't. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was just dog shit, to be honest. I mean, I was very annoyed when I did my first take on this film. And to be honest, it seems like the reason they even left Chad alive is because he's of darker skin tone, which is just dumb. I just don't get that. They should have killed off one of the main people, not some random ass fucking people we barely knew, no personality of, and then call that good. Even fucking, I don't even know if Gale died. It wasn't even confirmed that she was just severely stabbed. The ambulance made it to her. I don't know if she died. She's probably gonna come back. Alright, there were a few scenes I did forget to mention that I found just fucking stupid. The scene where Sam kicks out her boyfriend because They don't trust him? The dude that literally saved them in the apartment scene? Are you fucking kidding me? You're gonna now kick him out? Not only that, he was traveling with them for a while, and it's like, why are you now kicking him out? And the reason is because they didn't trust him. You had all the opportunity to say, hey, I want to go our separate ways. We don't know you very well. We can't trust you. But no, it was after he's followed them around for a good bit. And also there was a scene at the end when the whole reveal happened where Tara stabs a knife, or actually Sam lets Tara go. And the funny thing is she couldn't let Tara go be on her own, but the only fucking time this happens is when they're about to get, people are trying to fucking kill him. She then, is like, Tara, go. She lets her go from the balcony, and she drops down and stabs the knife into Ethan's mouth and twists the blade and stuff. And for some reason, he gets up and still is ready for a fight. Even though he was screaming in pain, and he was clearly fucked up, but whatever. And the thing is with, Sam letting Tara go and pretty much fucking get the drop on Ethan, and the reason I have a big problem with that is because in the whole beginning scene, her and Tara, after she takes her out from the college Halloween party, whatever the fuck it was, or Halloween party, they get into an argument about, or Tara says that Sam, has a problem letting her go. And it's like, the only time you're going to let Tara go is for the reason that you didn't want her to pretty much leave your sight, to not get hurt or killed. Really? And then you decide at that moment to fucking let her go, and she could have gotten hurt or killed, and she did end up getting hurt. And another thing too with the ending, fucking, Tara gets stabbed pretty well in the arm, and she doesn't even get taken away in the ambulance. She just has a sling. That's how you treat stab wounds. Just give the person a fucking sling. That, especially if they're stabbed in the shoulder, where that's the most used part of your body when you lift shit. Your arms and your shoulders too, believe it or not. Or I could be wrong. I have no idea. But I know your shoulder, where she got stabbed was an important part of her body. And I was just thinking, even for that, let's say it was in her leg, you would still need stitches. And they don't even put her in the ambulance to get fucking stitches. Oh my god, dude. What a movie. Definitely worth 76%. Yeah. I don't know. I was going to call the first take a rant, but I want to call this event. That's what I got in Scream 6. It was, to me, not a great movie. Not going to say I don't recommend it. You guys go watch it if you want. If you have a different opinion and you actually like the movie, leave it down in the comments. I'd like to read your opinions, and maybe you may change my mind. Because to me, this film just seemed to, and also Mindy too, I want to include that with the whole, because she was lesbian and African American, so you gotta have your sexual oriented or LGBTQ and fucking African characters in your movies. I'm not saying because she's African or anything that's bad. I'm just saying that it just feels like that these films are going down that road of, trying to be politically correct for the media. And it's like, fuck that. Scream doesn't need that. These characters could have died, regardless of their fucking skin color and their sexual identity. Who gives a shit at the end of the day, man? It's a stupid fucking horror movie. Anyway, it's me, Sacred G. Thanks for watching. Hear me out. Love and peace to all. Peace the fuck out. Bye.